So the show starts out with Ed, who is obviously a farmer and looks to be violating a cow. Not really, but maybe. The way he's caressing that cow, he probably should have at least brought her dinner first. We can see from this introduction to Ed that he is very strange. As if we didn't already know, he moves from seemingly breaking in a cow to breaking into a girl's house. He's watching through a cracked door as girls are in their underwear talking about bullet bras. He gets semi-caught because of the squeaky floorboards. I say semi because the girl thinks it might be her mom. In the next scene, he opens a drawer full of women's underwear, and as it turns out, it's his mom's underwear. The next scene, you can see that he's trying to take himself out while wearing his mother's nylons. It appears that the director is showing us that this is a side of himself that he cannot change, and he feels a deep sense of shame about it. His mom comes in and knocks him down accidentally with the door, and then she says, "You have brought sin into this house." Spoken in Old Testament tongue. The thing that stood out to me in this scene is she was more focused on him wearing her undies than trying to take himself out. And I don't know if this is done intentionally, but this story has become somewhat of an analogy for how people that are gay or queer have been treated in religious families for years. I hope that I am wrong about what Murphy's trying to do, because it's a really great concept, but I do not believe that this story is the right story to weave this in. I am so sorry. This man was atrocious and he committed horrible crimes. I know that people always want to give evil people the benefit of the doubt. Hell no. He is naked in the next scene, and he is naked and ripped, which is a staple of Ryan Murphy at this point. I feel like Murphy is Tyler Perrying it up because they both have a type: ripped and naked, naked and ripped. I really don't want to see these monsters like this. I want to see them in the electric chair with the current going through them. So much to unpack with this next scene. His mom is scolding him with the Bible while he stands naked in humiliation with his hands over his hoo-ha. As I hear that voice and see that face, reality sets in and I'm like, oh my God, Jackie? She asked about why he was wearing her underwear, and he said that he was just, trying to be funny. And that helium voice of his. She says when she was a little girl, she saw a clown riding a pogo stick at a circus, and she went home and she prayed on it. This is when you find out that his mom is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Now I get that this was way back in ancient times before the wheel was invented, and a lot of religious people thought this way, but God. She tells him to get dressed and says only a mother could love you. This is more of what I thought Norma Bates was going to be like in Bates Motel. She then, as if struck by the idea that someone else could love him besides her, tells him not to be involved with a Jezebel. He says he doesn't fancy a Jezebel mother, and she snaps, saying, "So you are seeing someone," which tells me that was her technique for actually probing him for information. She then flies into an unhinged meltdown over the idea of Ed seeing a woman, saying women are sin. You won't be marrying one. What in the emotional incest is this? She then commands him to go to his room like a mom that slipped on a Hot Wheel the kid left on the step. So he's at a diner creeping out girls with his helium voice, and he's told by an employee to leave the girls alone. The employee mentions he saw Ed's brother and that girl of his in a degrading way. The same degrading way people often talk down to single people. So he gets a hand on this paper showing the atrocities of concentration camps, and he's completely turned on by it, which is disgusting. Then the girl comes in from the bullet bra scene. This is the girl that he told his mom that he was dating. Her name is Adeline, not Pandora, like his mom said it was. No, her name is Pandora. So anyway, the girl is there to see Ed. Oh, Mr. Diner guy. He's got a girl, so what do you have to say now? Nothing? Exactly. So fall back. So they start talking and you realize that she is just as weird as he is, which, oh, it's very rare that you get to meet your weird soulmate. So she puts out this red box that has absolutely disgusting photos taken from concentration camps and a comic that he becomes infatuated with immediately called The Bitch of Buchenwald. This reminds me of Ramirez, which I am sure Murphy will get to next because that's another trash heap that is already sexualized enough. I'm sure he will spend the entire series nude and be absolutely ripped. He's gonna be as built as the Great Wall of China, for sure. They were both shown these horrendous acts of crime, enjoyed it too much to the point of acting out what they saw. If this is really how the story went and this part is not sensationalized, that's an interesting pattern. In the next scene, he talks with his brother in the barn. His brother says the obvious that their mom, Augusta, is completely cracked, saying that she's made a cage for herself with this religion and that Ed is going to get trapped in it too. And that she's making him weird. Too late, way too late. There is no hope for him on that front. At this moment, he is gone. Let it go. He also tells Ed that he's leaving and running away with his gal, that he needs to leave too. Ed is not liking the things that he's hearing about his mom and is frustrated that his brother is leaving. So he picks up a piece of wood and chucks his brother in the head with it. And he says something like, "Oh, I gotcha." Like he's that ha-ha kid from The Simpsons or something. It's at this point when I realize what they're trying to show us is that he's infantilized by his mother. Got it. His brother is splayed out on the ground and we know he's gone, which is when problems start to arise for me in this story because I find it hard to believe that he did this as a joke. These are psychopaths. They don't need a reason. Have you ever seen a psychopath try to think up a reason for what they did?
I didn't particularly care for people.
Whoops, not that part. That part is making me want to rethink the name of my channel. It's this part right here.
Child abuse. These things, contribute to a person, to a person's frustration and anger, and at some point in life, he explodes.
Or this clip.
Why did you kill those people?
No comments. No comments. I cannot answer that at this time.
Then his brother jumps back up eerily and says, "You know what? You're right about mom. And everything's back to normal." Absolutely not. The next scene, he's with his god-awful mother again. She's ranting while tearing that chicken up, saying her son is not her son anymore, that she prayed for a girl, which is weird because women are sin, remember? Women are sin. She's blaming the fact that she had sons on the old tried and true God's will, which has got to be a confidence boost to your children. I wanted something else, but I got stuck with you. Then she moves on to the children's father tearing that chicken apart like it's her son's psyche. She goes into how it pained her to lay with his father, that he stunk like a barn animal, which was hilarious. It took me out. It took me all the way out. And that she only let him defile her twice. And I'm thinking, why twice? But also, could his mom be under the asexual umbrella? That's why she finds intimacy disgusting, which, same. I find myself relating to her right now, and it's making me uncomfortable. She continues downing everyone she knows in her life, her husband and sons. I don't think she has many friends, can't imagine why though. She says again while painting her bread with butter, only a mother could love you, which is another confidence booster. I think the intention is to weave into Gein's mind that only she can love him. There's a possessiveness to what she's saying, in my opinion. The next day, he discovers his brother's body and has miraculously come to the realization that he would chuck them into the afterlife. He mentioned that he thought he was daydreaming, which makes me think they are leaning into multiple personality disorder, which I have a love-hate relationship with how directors choose to portray this disorder. Movies that have a perfectly executed plot twist, I find are the exception for me, but generally I don't like schizophrenia and hallucinations masquerading as dissociative identity disorder, previously named multiple personality disorder. He drags his brother's body out of the barn and stages a fire, saying the fire got out of control and he can't find his brother. His mom calls the police. They come find his body and lift him on the stretcher. His mom is hysterical. I mean, even more hysterical than she usually is. During autopsy, they have Gein there. They ask him questions, but ultimately decide his brother passed away from asphyxiation from the fire. For someone that seemingly doesn't know what they're doing, he sure knows what he's doing. In comforting his distraught mom, Gein goes into that his brother wasn't a good son and that he's going to be a good son for her. Who wants to hear after someone they love passed away, someone saying they are going to replace them? Who? Who? Not even his mom is that crazy. And that's scary. Next scene, Gein is with his mom in the hospital, and the doctor has confirmed that she has had a stroke. She is now wheelchair bound, and he is now her full-time caretaker. So far, it's feeling more like the movie Psycho than anything else. I know that there were a lot of movies based off of him, but it's looking like Psycho. You see him giving her a bath, treating her much like how he was with the cow. He's just creepy. And the actor is playing it so well. The story now shifts to the bitch. The bitch of Buchenwald. I believe her name is Ilse. A girl named Henriette interrupts Ilse while she's working with a nude woman on the table and she's evaluating her skin, which we know what that's all about. Henriette says Gisela won't give me a ride on the donkey, to which Ilse runs through the house of the horribly enslaved victims all the way to the backyard where there's a petting zoo and slaps Gisela, who's on the donkey, reminding one of the enslaved victims that he is supposed to make sure they take turns. It's crazy how casual things look in these scenes compared to what is actually happening in the scene. There's a feeling of this is just an everyday 9 to 5 for Germans and a nightmare from the depths of hell for the Jewish. Very accurate. So we are now enmeshed in the world of Nazism, kind of like the world we live in right now. They're all laughing and having a good time, and everything is looking like the scene from the Avengers when Scarlet Witch got into Captain America's head. Can't help but notice in the room that one of the guys has a monkey on his shoulder. There's a dog that's stealing things off of people's plates. And the irony of it all, the animals are being treated better than the humans. And she is inside on a horse with the whip. She singles out this one lady with her underwear on and she degrades and charges at her. As that happens, we are awoken with Ed back to reality by his belligerent mother yelling, "Eddie!" And it is hilarious to me. We see her post-stroke. She has graduated from the wheelchair to the cane. She asks, "What were you doing in there?" "Drive me over to Smith's farm. He owes us $10 rent for planting on our land." And Metcalf is just giving it to us in this performance. It's funny how she's comedic, even though I'm not sure that's what they were going for. Ed is like, "You are not supposed to be going anywhere. You are supposed to be resting." But she is indignant. She says, She thinks that only she can get that $10 out of Smith because according to her, Ed is the reason the guy owes it. They get to their destination and end up interrupting an argument at Smith's farm. The mom jumps out of the car and says, as under breath as possible for her, that he is fighting with that harlot. So here we go again. Harlots and Jezebels. To which you see a woman chasing after a man. Mother starts walking toward their house with a cane, yelling, "They're adulterers!" And I was thinking, Lord, I don't think they need this right now. Daniel Smith has got the harlot's dog and is planning to do something with it, and the harlot chases after him. Here comes Mother. "You owe the game farm $10, Daniel Smith. I'll take that in cash or straw fodder." I can't. I've got cows to feed. And I lost it watching this scene. I was just thinking, please don't let this character be hauled off the show. If she passes, can she be a ghost that eternally haunts his ass? Like hell, I'm paying you, Smith says. So she flies into another conniption and falls to the ground. Ed is in deep mourning to the point where he is lying down on the ground next to her plot. Gets home, sits down in her rocking chair, and Mother's voice going, "Get out of that chair," cuts through the air. And it was like being in a dark room after socializing for me. It was like not going anywhere and binging Netflix for me. You know, heaven. I thought I was going to be done with this show, but Ryan Murphy said 1, 2, 3, clear! Gein is unchained now, so I know that his character is about to enter into moral decay. Well, he takes out his mother's undies and he's doing something very naughty with them, to which, whoa, you can wear them, but ew. This episode has really showed me to never underestimate crazy. Ever. He then hears his mother say, "Stop that," which, thank God. She then tells him, "You can bring me back, you know." And I was like, oh, heck yeah. So he goes and attempts to dig her up, and he ends up digging some other woman up instead because he can't get to his mom. And woof. At this point, I'm like, I can't watch this. I like watching dark stuff, but this show is playing limbo with sickness. How sick can you go? How sick can you go? It's kind of like that with most of his work. I find his work to be too heavy emotionally for me. Ratchet felt like a bit too much as well. Too heavy, like eating an entire pizza yourself. You feel full and sick emotionally. A director that does horror with heavy, shocking moments very well is Mike Flanagan. He has moments when he is a little heavy-handed as well, of course, but with Flanagan, you are good and full. With Murphy, you just want to hurl. One big thing that I've noticed about the show is that he keeps giving Gein excuses. He took his brother out by accident. He didn't know what he was doing, but staged his brother's demise to look like he wasn't involved. He heard his mom say since he couldn't get to her grave to dig up the woman beside her, so he digs up some woman that he doesn't know, completely forgets about his mom. This all reads like this was his defense of his actions, or the director is defending his actions. Psychopaths know what they are doing. They just don't want you to know that they know. So it feels like I'm being manipulated. He's about to do God knows what with this corpse, and I know with this director, he's about to show everything. So for the diagnosis, patient is stable but nauseating. I'm transferring the patient. I won't be supervising the recovery. Those planning to monitor the vitals, bring a barf bag.